Namaste friends, my name is Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar. I am convener United Consciousness. United Consciousness is a global organization promoted by Project Self Incorporation USA and Bharat. Dear friends, some time back, one news shook the world. In the war zone of Syria, a 3-year-old child, badly wounded, was admitted to the hospital. Doctors could not save him, but before his death, that child looked at the doctor and said, "I am going to tell everything to the God." And the world really stood still. Every new child is a message of divine to us that the Creator is still not upset with us. But the mindset of division leads to struggles and leads to wars. The time has come that we should see oneness beyond these divisions, because we are already one in our worries for our kids. We are one and similar in our concerns for our family. We are one in our pursuit of happiness. We are one in our quest of peace. We are one in our struggle of avoiding pain. We are one in our concern for future. We are one in our consciousness. So dear friends, united consciousness is not the way, it is the way to save humanity today. It is a way for a new world order. It is a way where united consciousness envisage a new world where education will bring forth the best in everybody. It will liberate people, where the focus of education will be life, not only livelihood. Where in schools, kids will be taught that happiness and peace is the dashboard of life. Where the language of superlatives and comparatives will not be used often. Where economics will talk more about gross domestic happiness rather than gross domestic product. Where war will be taught only in the books of history. Where stress and tension will remain only in the books of physics, not in humanity. Where depression will go back to find its place in the books of economics, not in human psychology. Where nations will be the units of economic development, social and ethnic upliftment, but not the boundaries of human freedom and human expression. Where we share this planet with other species, where we, instead of talking only on democracy, we will be talking on ecocracy, where we will incorporate all the plants, nature, animals, and give them their righteous place, their appropriate place in this planet, where even they are applauded and respected as a being on this planet. So dear friends, the time has come to choose, and there are two choices. One choice is united consciousness, and another is divisive catastrophe. Because we make choices, and finally choices make us. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose love. Let's choose togetherness. Let's choose united consciousness. In order to choose united consciousness and celebrate it, we are organizing on 11th, 12th, 18th and 19th of December a global spiritual fiesta, United Consciousness Conclave 2021. So let's together explore united consciousness with amazing speeches and panel discussion. Experience united consciousness through meditation and yoga, and express united consciousness through dance and music. Around 100 countries will be participating in some or the other delegates or representatives of around 100 countries will be there as spectators or participants in this global program. I welcome all of you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful journey of united consciousness. I would also like to thank Indian Council of Cultural Relationships to promote this event, to support this event world over. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored and delighted to welcome our performance from the organization Play for Change. Play for Change is not only the organization, but it is a movement created to inspire and connect the world through music and break the boundaries. They reimagine a world connected by music to spread a global message of hope and unity. Playing for Change was born in 2002 as a shared vision between co-founder Mark Johnson and Whitney Kroenke. This musical journey resulted in the award-winning documentary, a cinematic discovery of a street music. Today they are playing Sachita song. In the group we have Adrian Bruno from Argentina, Afro Reggae Choi from Brazil, Afro Reggae Drum Group from Brazil, Binho from Brazil, Sinsona D. Esses from Brazil, Kotini Bam Dedrick from Jamaica, Enzo Bruno from Argentina, Elo Ferreira from Cape Verde, Luis Conte from Cuba, Martino da Cuca from Brazil, Neol Cyrus from Argentina, Pritinho da Serra from Brazil, Dr. Janardhan Mitta from India, R. Shruti from India, Ronaldo Popo from Brazil, Rigoberto from Cuba, Sandhavi from India, Sandra Disa from Brazil, Walters from Brazil, and Nino Josel from Spain.
Deus, que os homens encontrem os seus passos perdidos e que os sonhos despertem esses olhos dormidos, que o amor transborde e vivamos em paz. Que os dias terminem com os braços cansados e que a sorte só queira estar ao teu lado. Que a dor não me assombre, nem me cause desvelo. Peça a Deus. Satitaranda para Brahma, Purushottama para Matma, Shri Bhagavati Sameda, Shri Bhagavate Namaha.
Peça a Deus que nos mande do céu muita sabedoria, um amor verdadeiro, que ninguém passe fome, um abraço de irmão, que vivamos em paz. Ei, que terminem as guerras e também a pobreza, encontrar alegrias entre tanta tristeza, que a luz ilumine as almas perdidas e um futuro melhor. Satitaranda para Brahma, Purushottama para Matma, Shri Bhagavati Sameda, Shri Bhagavate Namaha.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Play for Change musical group for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving. Swami Tejomayananda explained the importance of Guru. He said, Tirtha is the knowledge of self that takes us across the ocean of sanskars. It comes in the form of Guru and his blessings. I'm extremely overwhelmed that today we have such Guruji who has blessed us through his message so we could have knowledge of self and stay happy and peaceful. He is Swami Swarupananda Ji. Swami Ji has a spiritual inclination since childhood, and during his adolescence he met the preeminent master of the Vedanta, Swami Chinmayananda Ji. He has undergone intensive training under Swami Chinmayananda Ji and Swami Tejomayananda Ji at Sandeepani, Mumbai. He has touched thousands of lives across the world, and his tremendous work in bringing out the essential wisdom and underlying unity of all religions. Swami Swarupananda Ji is a rare voice that blends authenticity with accessibility theory, with self-practice, logic with heart. Presently Chancellor of Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth Trust and Chairman of Chinmaya International Residential School in Coimbatore, India. Swami Swarupananda Ji has now been bestowed by Swami Tejomayananda Ji the privilege to also serve as the head of Chinmaya Mission worldwide. Swami Ji has authored several commentaries on such important spiritual classics as Ek Onkar, Mahamrityunjay Mantra, Sankat Mochan, besides numerous books on commentaries, lifestyle subjects such as simplicity and meditation, Storm to Perform, Avatar, Managing the Manager, and Journey to Health. So with a warm welcome, let's listen his words of wisdom.
Namaste. Greetings to all of you in this wonderful series of consciousness that we wish to spread around the world. If we want to see differences through our body, senses, mind, and intellect, we see the relative world which is so different, and each crystal is different from the other. And our focus, when it remains on differences, when we want to find differences, we can find them in plenty, because in the relative world, everything is seen as different. However, with our intellect, with our careful inquiry, we recognize that there's an underlying principle, an underlying cause, an underlying essence, an underlying truth that is one in everything and everyone in the universe. Therefore, in India, whenever we meet each other, and whether it is young, whether a person is young or old, we meet with a namaste. And with that namaste, I greet all of you, that you and I and everyone is one. And to that one, I surrender, I bow down. I remember a very interesting incident. I was standing at a bus stop, and in India, bus stops are crowded. And there, one gentleman, elderly man, very well known in our street, Mr. Iyer, was standing there. And finally, he came in front of the queue, hoping that the crowded bus, at least he and the person behind him, would push him inside in that crowded bus. At that time, a college-going teenager comes with one book in his hand, spinning it around, and comes and stands right in front of the queue, inconsiderate of the people who have been waiting there for such a long time. Mr. Iyer a distinguished elderly gentleman, looks at him and says, "These days, these youngsters have got no manners, no decency, no consideration." And that youngster, with earphones in his ear, hardly is listening to him. Finally, he managed to jerk him out of his music, and they started fighting. To keep the story short, finally his book fell down, and Mr. Iyer read his name and found that he was also Iyer. The moment they recognized some identity, immediately that fight ended. And when the bus came, guess who went in? The elderly gentleman telling the young man to go in, the young man telling the elderly gentleman to go in, the third person jumped into the bus. How did that conflict instantly stop? When there is this knowledge and discovery of oneness, then only there is love, there is unity, there is peace. So if we want to see differences, there's differences in people, there's differences in the same family. And where we see differences, there is conflict, because differences are there superficially in the universe. However, when we make it into distinctions, inequality, separation, you, I, my, yours, there is where conflict happens. And where there is conflict, there will be the loss of peace, harmony. Therefore, whether it was the philosophers, whether it were the discoverers, whether it was the great saints, sages of the world, their main purpose was to show us that unity in the diversity, that one truth, that one essence, not just similarity, but just that one truth, one essence. In the land of Bharat, the land of light, which today we call as India, the very philosophy, the very culture, the very religion starts with that there is only one infinite cause from which this entire universe of plurality has appeared. Just as from one mud, different names and forms arise as different mud pots, vases, etc., with different utility. Names and forms might appear different. They are only temporary, they are only relative, but the essence, the truth is only one. That mud in all the pots, that gold in all the gold ornaments, that water in all the waves, small or big, a ripple or a tsunami, is one and the same. When our attention is on the differences, then fear, anxiety, self-preservation, all these become our priority. And our reactions then become natural of likes, dislikes, aversions, fear, anxieties of others, conquest, defeat. All these happen. And as we see in the world, that where we see distinctions, differences, if all religions say God is one, then how can there be my God and your God? How can my God be superior than your God? If the cause that we call in religion as God, in philosophy as truth, science infers of it as reality, that cause of the universe can only be the one infinite. Give that any name. Names we can give different according to languages. In one language, we may say mother. In the other language, we may say amma. In the third language, we may say mom. In another language, we may say mummy. Whatever we say, but mother means the same in every culture of the world. If we recognize that even what has been said about God in all the religions, you will see one common factor. For the truth is there in all religion, in all sciences that try to discover the truth. But truth is not the heritage of any one religion or science. For truth is that which is ever present in everything and everyone. We ask this question: what is the truth? Who is God? Is there a God? We may not believe in a certain concept of God that is prevalent. But if we inquire what the great masters have said, who inquired into life, who inquired into who am I, who inquired as to what and from where this world has emerged. Is there a common factor, or we are all different? Love is there only when I identify with someone as one, or even I see a sense of similarity and unity. All the great masters, all the well-wishers of the world, and today also all of you gathered here, are we not seeking that oneness? In fact, in whatever we do, there is this urge, this common purpose. And most people are looking out for a purpose. But in fact, with what purpose do we do any action? Is it not that in every action that we do, in every desire that we wish to fulfill, anything we want to acquire, is it not that we all are seeking that permanent state of peace and happiness? Are we not all seeking that? Is that not the purpose for which everything that we do? A person marries to be happy, divorces to be happy. Whatever we do is to be happy. And that pursuit of happiness is there in each one of us. But only thing we don't recognize is that we are seeking permanent, everlasting happiness. We are seeking permanent love. We are seeking permanent peace. And that which is permanent, when we try to analyze, when we try to think, what is that? And we search for it, we find that the existence in everyone, which is Sat, which we heard so beautifully in that melodious song, that each object may appear to be different, but the common underlining factor, that existence is always there. The table is. Your screen is. You are. I am. This is all is. A tree is. You make furniture out of it, the furniture is. The furniture is destroyed. The wood piece is. Make it into pulp. The paper is. That isness, because of which the entire universe appears to exist, that is common. And that which is permanent, when we begin to inquire, that everything that we see, the world of names and forms, and we experience in our waking, dream, and deep sleep state, all that we see is changing. But the consciousness, the awareness, the seer, who even knows your childhood, old age, youth, and old age, is permanent, ever present. And this consciousness, which is there in everyone, you cannot see any difference in it. And this consciousness, which is infinite, alone can be fulfilling, because happiness is where there is no ifs, there's no conditionings, and therefore of the nature of happiness. This Sat Chit Ananda is our very own nature and the nature of everyone. But in our ignorance, when we do not recognize our true self, we interact with the world through our relative personalities, in which we see all differences. Get to the core of yourself. Get into your heart and discover that one consciousness that pervades the entire universe, which is the substratum of the entire universe. And in that oneness, you discover that which is love. And love knows only one thing, and that is, I see in my beloved myself. And in that sharing of happiness, there is no give or take, there is no you or me, there is just one. Where there is this knowledge of oneness, there is love. Where there is love, there is no conflict, there is peace. And where there is peace, there is giving, sharing, and abundance. Because when I discover I am happiness myself, and infinite happiness, then in giving and sharing that happiness for everyone, in every also there is that one. There is no hesitation. And where there is happiness, there is love, there is peace and harmony. This is the knowledge of all the great masters. And knowingly, unknowingly, this is the purpose for which we do everything. We only have to recognize that this is the very purpose behind everything that we do. Not that we have to find a purpose, we have a purpose, and that is to be happy and to spread happiness everywhere. For happiness is the nature of the self. Happiness is the nature of everyone, and therefore the pursuit of everyone. And We seek God also because we want to be happy. And God, in every religion of the world, is that which is infinite. And the infinite cannot be separate from anything. And there can be no my God, your reality, my truth. For truth is only one. And when we discover that truth, which is one in all of us, then only we reach the very purpose or fulfill the very purpose of our life. And what we seek is ourselves. But not knowing ourselves and considering ourselves to be this limited identity, separate from anyone, comes all the anxieties, frustrations, wars, etc. Discover that which is one. Discover that which is infinite. And helplessly, because of our ignorance, when we don't know our nature, just as water from any place seeks its source, the ocean, the fire even on the earth goes upwards towards its source, the sun. Same way, every creature in this world seeks his or her own nature, and that is infinite, eternal bliss or happiness. And the joy of living is be happy and spread happiness to everyone. That indeed is the expression of love. And that love comes when I see myself in everyone. Namaste.
Namaste, respected Pujya Swamiji. Thank you very much. We are so honored that the session begins with your blessings. And Swamiji, you rightly said that the senses gives us the world of differences, but when we inquire deeply, we understand the underlying cause, truth, reality, one consciousness, that infinitive. Once we realize it, and probably that has been demonstrated when we say namaste, I can see Iyer in you and the Iyer can see Iyer in me. That was so amazingly touching and worth remembering forever. And when I see you and me in you, and us in all, as you said, then that leads to peace. Peace leads to giving. Giving leads to sharing and the world of abundance. And creating that world of abundance helps me to realize my purpose of life. That is realizing myself beyond limited identities, seeing mud in the pot, gold in the ornaments, and water in the ocean. As water, fire goes back to its source, and my source is realizing Sat Chit Anand, and there is a one in everyone. So kind of you, respected Puji Swamiji. We are so honored to listen these elaborations from you. I had many questions, but majority of them are already answered in your speech. But still, one question is left. If you permit, I can. Swamiji, a question I received is, Swamiji, I am an atheist. What should I call as my purpose of life?
First of all, define to yourself what you call as atheist. An atheist is a person who may not believe in some religious concept of a God, yeah, or think that there is no God. And that too also is what concept you think is God. But if you find out that what you are seeking in your purpose, that's why what I said in my talk, that cause, that essence in you, religion calls it as God, philosophy calls it as truth, and what you are seeking as your purpose is what is the truth, and that is eternal, infinite consciousness. And you cannot deny that, can you? If you deny that there is that cause which is existent, not a being up there in heaven, but an existent cause It's like the pot denying the mud. When you deny existence, then you are denying your existence. When you deny consciousness, you mean to say you are unconscious? And when you deny happiness, are you seeking sorrow? What you're seeking is your own true essential nature. And you cannot say, you may not believe in some God who is there to help you, but believe in yourself who can help yourself. That is being a theist, not one who believes in God. So you have belief in something. If not, you have belief in yourself. So don't call yourself an atheist.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for such a deep answer of the question. I hope that answers the question. And we seek your blessings for the events to come. Around more than 90 to 100 countries representatives are there in this event, and we all are blessed with your presence, Swamiji.
Wish you all the best, and everyone, Godspeed to everyone, and let us work towards this oneness, peace, and happiness by discovering ourselves.
Thank you, Swamiji. Regards, Swamiji. Namaste.
I'm very grateful to Swami Swarupananda ji for sharing his insights and blessing us through his message. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you so very much. I feel highly honored in welcoming our next guest, who is a divine being with the values of love, compassion, peace, goodness, and cooperation towards humanity. He is Haji Sayyid Salman Chishti from Ajmer Sharif. He, being the 26th generation of Gaddi Nashin heredity and custodian through his Chishti family, which has been engaged in serving at the globally famed, acknowledged, and renowned center of peace and unity for the whole humanity, the blessed Dargah Ajmer Sharif Sufi Shrine of the 11th century Sufi Grand Master teacher Hazrat Khwaja Muinuddin Hassan Chishti, whose blessed shrine have been passed on to the present family from generations to generations for last 800 years. He has done his bachelor's in economics and commerce from Wilson College, University of Mumbai. His passion and deep longing towards the mystic world of Sufis and spiritual culture of the world has enabled him to travel across various Sufi destinations globally, where he has been regularly invited to speak and participate in international Sufi and intersocial conferences on spirituality, interfaith dialogues, importance of Sufi musical rendering in Chishti Sufi order, Sufi art, Sufi poetry, Sufi literature, and represented the Chishti Sufi order in countries as diverse as Al-Hijaz, Arabian Peninsula, Egypt, Turkey, Morocco, United States of America, United Kingdoms, Bangladesh, etc. He has been heading the Chishti Foundation Ajmer Sharif as the managing trustee and chairman for last 10 years. He is also the founding member along with other elders of the Chishti Sufi family. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and please welcome Haji Sayyid Salman Chishti from Ajmer Sharif.
Adab, greeting of peace and salam. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيد المرسلين ورحمة للعالمين. Greeting of peace and salam Adab to all those who have been joined in virtually, in physical presence, and United Conscious Conclave, the organizers who have been dedicatedly putting together not only this 4 days of spiritual bliss and blessing, but even earlier during the course of the pandemic that the world has seen. We have come together earlier as well. Dr. Vikrant Tomar Saab, the driving force, all the volunteers who are working tirelessly behind the scene. We extend our salam, our respect and regards to all of you in sharing such platforms of wisdom, grace, and heart to heart translation of unconditional love, which is so important and essential on the path of spiritual understanding, experience, sharing, and learning from each other, from the elders, from the spiritual masters, from practitioners, from those in silence, and those sharing with words. We have been asked to share few words and learn also by hearing so many great masters from across the world, 6 continents, more than 100 countries, and from India, numerous spiritual leaders, yogic teachers, practitioners. We extend our regards to all of them as well. Spirituality and surrender. I would say spirituality and submission. Because as we walk on the path of spiritual understanding and learning, it is the first step that lead us to submit ourselves as being humble, conscious towards our spiritual calling, submitting ourselves to a higher sense, higher calling, higher path, ultimately leading us to the one, the divine creator, the one who has always been, who is, and who shall always be, who just command with the divine words, as it's mentioned in the Quran, kun fay kun, be and it become. The one who holds the reign of day and night, morning and evenings, every breath that we take, every moment that is unfolded into the part of the creation. That is the submission. The spiritual path leads us to our own consciousness, to our own purpose. As it's mentioned in the Holy Quran, those who know themselves knows their Lord. It is so essential in knowing the self, where we originate, what is our path, and where we lead, and where we return. We come from the light, the Noor ala Noor, and we return to that light. The path, the time that has been bestowed to us to be on this earth in the physical manifestation of our body, the career of the soul, the vehicle that carry forward the soul to our path and the purpose of our realization. Because soul and his presence has been much, much, much older than the body that we are, carrying the sacred trust. As it's mentioned in the Holy Quran in Surah Al Arafah, verse 172, when God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, the divine creator, before the creation of this materialistic world, the cosmos, the heavens, God called upon all the souls together, and that was the first Holy Commune, which has been mentioned into Quran, into this ayat, where God asked all the souls together, and this was the first Holy Commune between the Creator and the creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked, Anasta Rabbikum, am I not your Lord? All the souls who were gathered replied in one voice, Shahidina Kalubala. Yes, we bear witness that you are our Lord. Such a magnanimity of the Creator and the grace of the first Holy Commune, Sunnah, listening. When the souls listened or heard first time the voice of the Creator in this Holy Commune, they were so ecstatic. The souls were so ecstatic that after replying that Shahidina Kalubara, yes, we bear witness that you are our Lord, they become ecstatic into a hal, in deep ecstatic, that one experience when you are sitting into sama, kavali, or you are doing zikr, meditation, that state of nothingness, that state of being into the state of complete submission, the state of emptying out everything, the state of releasing our shoulders, releasing our burden, the state of being in pure essence of your being. So all the souls experience that, and with a turn, a whirling happened, and they fell unconscious because of the divine ecstasy. And into that unconsciousness, the divine consciousness was poured. Look at the magnanimity and the nizam, the way of the divine. That here the divine is asking, am I not your Lord? And then all the souls are replying, yes, we bear witness, you are our Lord. So here what is interesting to note is that God has made us, our soul, their own witness. That the souls have become their own witness in proclaiming the oneness, the shahada, the witness of the one divine creator. In the worldly sense or in the worldly court of law, if there is a testimony, we can never be our own witness. There will be always somebody else who will be witnessing for us. We cannot be our own witness of our own statement in front of a judge or in the court of law. But look at the magnanimity what is unfolding here. That is submission. And when we are into this world, when we meet people around, when we are interacting with people, if we are conscious, if we are paying heed to these seen and unseen signs around us, within us, in front of us, with open eyes or with closed eyes, when we experience, when we feel these signs, then the souls recognize those moments of togetherness in front of the divine creator. It happens with all of us. If we are not ghafil, heedless, we are conscious, paying heed to these signs. When we are traveling, we are interacting with people. Sometimes it happens that we meet somebody, in a few moments, we feel there is a past connection. Or we go to some place, maybe for the first time, but we feel that we have been to these lanes or alleys before. We have visited this place before. In the modern millennial terminology, youth terminology, they call it the deja vu moment. But in actual realization, it is that moment when the souls recognize each other or the places that you travel. From that union in front of the Lord and the proclamation of oneness of God, and then immediately we feel and develop that deep relation, the spiritual relation, which we might not even have with our friends with whom we have grown up, our family members that we have grown up. In few moments, that is the spiritual relation. And that's why it has been mentioned that the spiritual bonds are thicker than the blood bond, with this unique understanding of submission, which is not giving up, which is not understanding that we have a sense of loss. Submission is freedom. The relation that is based upon these spiritual understanding becomes so strong and so comfortable that we just start interacting and heart to heart conversation, which really take us to the next level of conversation, which often is beyond words, beyond speaking words, where we experience even in silence. Meditation is an experience. Maybe we chant with loud remembrance of God, spoken remembrance of these holy names, the verses, the mantras, or silent zikr with each heartbeat, with each breath, with each nafas, each breath. The salik, as we become from halate shaur to halate wujud to halate mahsus, experience. So Alhamdulillah, all praise to the one, the divine creator, who gave us this moment to even reflect and share. The spiritual path is a path of tests, tribulations, when we are walking in this path into the world. It's not in a very exotic or something which is from outside. When you see Sufis, mystics, chanting with beards, dervishes, whirling music, it look quite exotic from outside. But once you step in, they say that on the path of spirituality, if you are a mountain, you will be crushed so much that you will become a zarra, minute particle of dust. Even then, the crushing continues. वो कहते हैं ना, ये इश्क नहीं आसा, एक आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है. That this love, this divine love, is not an easy task. It is an ocean of fire, and you have to get drowned and get across it. In the Western, often in the Western understanding, when you talk about submission or surrender, it translates as giving up, surrendering yourself, giving up, or that you accept your defeat. It's not that. Submission is freedom. Submission leads oneself to a higher path, to a higher consciousness, and to a grace which can only be understood through the personal feeling when you have and realize the divine presence within yourself. That's why it's zikr, it's a meditation that makes the heart as brave heart. As we understand and move forward towards the progress of this United Consciousness Conclave, although these moments of reflections, especially in the Sufi Khanika, when we speak or we listen, anecdotes, stories, it takes, you don't even realize that how much time has passed. But due to the digital format and the presence that we have, I would like to conclude, as we have other elders, masters from around the world who will be sharing their wisdom. I would like to conclude with the last teachings or the last foundational message of Khaja Moinuddin Chishti, which became the essence of the Chishti Sufi order in serving and submission, in freeing yourself, where he asks, love all and hate none. Mere talk of peace will avail you not. Mere talk of God and religion will not take you far. Bring out all the latent powers of your being and reveal the full magnificence of your immortal self. Be overflowing with peace and joy and scatter them wherever you are, wherever you go. Be a blazing fire of truth. Be a beauteous blossom of love and be a soothing balm of peace with your spiritual light. This is so important to reflect that all of us carry that spiritual light. With your spiritual light, dispel the darkness of ignorance, dissolve the clouds of discord and war, and spread goodwill, peace, harmony among the people. Never seek any help or charity or favors from anybody except God. Never go to the courts of the king, but never refuse to help the needy and the poor, the widows and the orphan if they come to your door. This is your mission, to serve the people. Carry it out dutifully and courageously, so that I, as your Pir Murshid, may not be ashamed of any of your shortcomings in front of Almighty Creator, God, and our holy predecessor in the Sufi orders. These last few words really bring tears to our eyes. Imagine the magnanimity of Khaja Moinuddin Chishti, Gharib Nawaz, from last 800 years serving at Ajmer Sharif. He is asking us that any of your shortcomings may not make us ashamed. This is such an important anecdote to reflect on the sacred trust that we get from our parents, from our teachers, that any of our shortcomings will make them ashamed, and that makes us conscious. This united consciousness conclave comes to that whole essence that we have to be conscious that every step, every word that we take, it has to take care of the human heart. We cannot we cannot be casual when it comes to the experience and taking care of the human heart. May God give us the strength and hikmat and wisdom to take care of the human heart while we surrender ourselves into submission of the divine will of nurturing that sacredness within our own self. Let's nurture that together. That's our duas from Ajmer Dargah Sharif. Lots of blessing and bliss in this moment of developing and realizing that consciousness. Shukriya, Dr. Vikrant Singh Thomar Sahab, and the entire team of United Consciousness, all the elders who have joined us from around the world. We pay our respect to you and we look forward to learn from you while we are sharing these few remarks from heart to heart conversation. Thank you, Adab, Salam, regards.
Thank you, Haji Sayyid Salman Sahab. And so beautifully you mentioned, you brought the message of Allah to all of us. Kun fayakun, be and then it becomes. And you really put it rightly that once we submit, we reach to a state of hal, sama you mentioned, state of nothingness, submission, no burden, complete freedom, and the state of purity that creates a whirling effect, and we become unconscious in that divine ecstasy. And then God pours us with divinity in those moments of submission. And we all, you mentioned about the spiritual deja vu, the oneness that we all have, which is thicker than the blood. And you rightly said that in this path, even mountains will be crushed to zarras. Until you submit properly, you won't realize your true purpose of life. So beautifully, you finally you gave us the message of Khwaja Chishti Dargah message from Khwaja ji, and we are blessed to know about that divine message, love all and hate none, blazing fire of truth you mentioned, and dispel darkness of ignorance with knowledge. Thank you very much for this blessings from the pious Ajmer Sharif Dargah. Thank you very much.
Shukriya, Adab, we are honored. Thank you and all the best for the remaining session days. बहुत बहुत दुआएं आपके लिए, and we look forward to really welcome you in person when the blessed calling happen in Ajmer Sharif, and also be together with you shoulder to shoulder in serving the message from India to the world. Submission is freedom.
Inshallah. Doste.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Haji Sayyid Salman Chishti from Ajmer Sharif to come onto the platform of United Consciousness and sharing his views. Thank you so much. To invite and introduce our next guest, Ms. Sanita Selina, a yoga student. She began her yoga journey in her childhood by learning yoga practices from her father. Sanita continued to practice and learn yoga from teachers in Latvia, Europe, India, Canada, and USA. In Luxembourg, she met the yoga master Andre Rail. The meeting resulted in a continuous Swadhyay and further study of Nidra Yoga in France and Romania. And it also opened the doors for introducing the teachings of Andreji to other yoga students in Latvia. After receiving a teacher training certificate from Shivananda Yoga Vedanta Center, Uttarkashi, India, she has been given regular group classes and individual sessions of yoga practices, indoor, outdoor, and online. She has also been involved in local community projects in Latvia and working with NGOs promoting happy lifestyles. Stress management, mindfulness, healthy nutrition, physical activity, mental and emotional well-being among various target groups, inspired by her Sanskrit studies with Dr. Sunita Patil and by her sadhana, Sanita co-translated the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali into Latvian language.
Namaste. I'm happy to be part of the United Consciousness and to be in this event together with you. The great sage Patanjali has defined yoga. The state of yoga is reached when the mind becomes calm. And his advice on this is Sthira Sukham Asana, which means steady, comfortable posture. Sukham also means happy. So happy posture, happy body, happy mind. So I'm here to show you just some few simple practices of how to keep your spine happy and your body happy. Now lay on your mat. Knees are bent. Your spine is straight, flat on the mat. Extend your neck. Still keep your feet on the floor. Knees and feet slightly apart. Put your palms on the mat. And start bringing your hips up. Inhale. Start bringing your hips and spine up, vertebra by vertebra. Exhale down, vertebra by vertebra. It's like a gentle massage of the spine. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. One more time. Good. again, extend your spine if needed. And interlock your fingers. Put your palms under your back of your head. Elbows to the sides. And bring your abdomen in. Inhale, and with the next exhale, bring your head up and your spine up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Several times. Keep your neck relaxed as much as possible. Face relaxed. If possible, bring your spine even higher up. Great. And come back. And again, bring your knees to the chest. Give yourself this nice caring hug and just roll from one side to the other. Good. Now let's move to the bridge pose, which in case you have some back issues, it's a variation of the bridge pose, is when you bring your hips up and remain in this pose by keeping your arms to the mat. But if your spine is happy, so you can go even more up and put your palms under your back and do a full bridge pose. Just relax your abdomen. So in either this one or the previous one, you can remain by relaxing your abdomen and breathing. Inhale and exhale. With every next exhale, relax your abdomen even more. Okay, now bring your spine down vertebra by vertebra. Again, put your knees to your chest and hug yourself. Roll from one side to the other. Then cross your legs, grab your toes and move from the front to the back. If you can, just roll up in a sitting pose, or the other way is you can just go from the side and sit with your straight legs, straight spine. Move your hips outwards. And now we'll do Paschimottanasana, bending down, but there is a condition that the spine should be straight. So Paschima Uttanasana, like going up, the spine is going up. You just pull yourself by the top of your head, with the top of your head towards the sky. And then bring your arms up. Inhale, and with an exhale, bend down. And when your spine starts rolling, just stay where you are and continue stretching your spine. You can grab your toes or somewhere in the calf area and just continue stretching the spine with the top of your head. Inhale, stretch, exhale, slight bend even more, maybe 1 millimeter, maybe 2, just very slight, leaning towards your legs. If you can go even lower, but try not to bring your shoulders to your ears. So the shoulders are away from your ears. Inhale, exhale. Come back. Bring your arms up. Bring your palms on the floor and bend your legs. Table pose by bringing your hips up. This is one variation. The other one, you can remain sitting on the floor and just bring your belly to the front and your chest more to the front. And breathe. So either table pose or sitting pose. Just compensating the previous one. Great. Now come back on your spine, laying on your spine and interlocking your fingers, putting your palms under the back of your head. And feel your head as if it was a heavy ball and your palms is a net. So with the help of your palms, raise your head up and then gently move it from one side to the other. Fine. Come back and relax. Palms up. Your legs together, your arms over your head. Extend, stretch and release. Bring your knees towards your chest and roll from one side to the other. Fold your elbows, roll your shoulders. Okay. And then come back in the sitting pose, either in this way or maybe just by holding yourself under your knee and bringing the back up. And take a steady, comfortable pose, steady, happy pose. Maybe it's better if you sit on a chair so your spine is straight. Pull the top of your head towards the sky. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. And put your right palm on your abdomen. You'll do some diaphragm breathing. With an exhale, bring your abdomen in. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale in, closer to the spine. Inhale out. Continue breathing. Shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. The air gently flows through your nostrils. The belly, the abdomen becomes more relaxed. It is still moving, but in a relaxed way, like a wave, back and forth. Just do this with your arms and with your palms. Close your eyes, put your palms on your eyes. breathe. And then open your eyes, bring your palms, namaste. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for being with me on this journey.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Sunita Selena for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.
देखो इन्हें ये है ओस की बूंदें, पत्तों की गोद में आसमां से कूदे, अंगड़ाई ले फिर करवट बदल कर, नाजुक से मोती हंस दे फिसल कर, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर। ये तो है सर्दी में धूप की किरणें, उतरे जो आंगन को सुनहरा सा करने, मन के अंधेरों को रोशन सा कर दे, ठिठुरती हथेली की रंगत बदल दे, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर।
जैसे आँखों की डिबिया में निंदिया, और निंदिया में मीठा सा सपना, और सपने में मिल जाए फरिश्ता सा कोई, जैसे रंगों भरी पिचकारी, जैसे तितलियां फूलों की क्यारी, जैसे बिना मतलब का प्यारा रिश्ता हो कोई।
ये तो आशा की लहर है, ये तो उम्मीद की सहर है, खुशियों की लहर है, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर।
Akshara Kids Academy strives to shape the future of unprivileged and underprivileged kids having urge of learning. Kindly lend your hand too in this yajna. Where there is darkness, light is needed. When there is conflict, peace is needed. When there is agony, spirituality is needed. How to have peace and harmony is a question in everybody's mind. So let's understand this with our learned guest in the panel discussion on the topic Spirituality and Global Peace. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Nitin Agarwal Vaidya, an Ayurveda doctor practicing Ayurveda for over 24 years. He's an expert in pulse diagnosis and Panchkarma treatments. He is known as a formulator and researcher of Ayurveda medicinal and herbal formulations according to international standards, Ayush, European Union and US FDA. Dr. Nitin has integrated the classical Ayurveda with modern scientific tools and knowledge. He is among one of the leading thinkers and young leaders in the field of Ayurveda. He has been regularly invited to speak at various international conferences, seminars and webinars. He is also the founder and MD of Bliss Ayurveda Private Limited, Chairman of Alliance Ayurveda Research and Training Institute, and National Secretary of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Nitin Agarwal Vaidya. In the panel, I welcome our next panelist, Mr. Mubirkhoni Muminpur. He got his bachelor's degree in foreign language from the Tajik National University, specializing in Hindi and English. For more than 5 years, he is working as a deputy head of the Excursion and Mass Communication Department of National Museum in Tajikistan. The excursion group comprises of 2 presidents, 1 prime minister, the head of parliaments, general of army, and lots of high-level delegations from around the world. From 2015-16, he have been in India. He studied Hindi language proficiency in Kendriya Hindi Sansthan, Agra, Uttar Pradesh. He also studied Aryan culture, ancient civilization, and intercultural relationship. From 2017, he is working at the National Museum of Tajikistan as an Hindi-English speaking guide. As an Indiologist in the museum, he researched on ancient civilizations deeper. In 2018, he wrote an article after a long time researching on Hinduism in ancient Penjikent, which is from the proven artifacts of the museum. In the panel, we have with us Swami Gunatityananda Saraswati Ji. He is a monk from Chinmay Mission, a seeker of the truth and a disciple of Swami Chinmayananda. He studied Vedanta in India at Sandeepani Sadhanalaya of Chinmay Mission. He is presently based in Chinmay Mission of Sri Lanka as the resident Swami. In keeping with the vision of Chinmay Mission, inner transformation of individuals resulting in a happy world around them, he is engaged in sharing the knowledge culled from the scriptures in the modern context, motivating the adults as well as young adults, thereby enabling them to become positive contributors to society. Swami Gunatityananda Saraswati Ji was a successful IT professional, well versed in business management and IT practice prior to embarking on the journey in the search of the truth. In the panel, we also have with us Ms. Veena Dan Singhani, born in India, raised in Hong Kong. She is the director and founder of Alopecia Hair and Therapeutic Yoga and Laughter Therapy, teaching of Naveda Integral Wellness Center in Hong Kong, offering a transformative health experience. It aimed to popularize the Indian ancient wisdom and science to the global platform. She has been spiritually inclined from childhood. She is also a corporate wellness trainer and organizing and delivering health, happiness, and wellness workshops around the globe. She has also led some sessions at leading conferences like Women's Extraordinary Forum, CSR, Asia, TEDx Hong Kong, University and Inclusion, and has been an advocate in promoting Work-Life Balance Week, International Happiness Day, World Laughter Day, Ambassador of Global Wellness Day, as well as volunteering a Masters of Ceremony for United Nations Yoga Day, and takes up many leadership roles and initiatives to spread health, happiness, peace, spirituality, and many more. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tomar is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, respected guests, and I welcome audience from all parts of the globe. Dear friends, it is such a beautiful occasion to discuss on the important issue of global peace. And we have a distinguished panel of experts from India, Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, and Tajikistan. So, first question that comes to all of our mind as we say that peace and happiness is the goal of every goal of life. Then why it is so that human beings are the most intelligent but least happy species on the planet? So let's come with this question to Dr. Nitin Agrawal ji. What do you think is the biggest threat to the peace of the world today? In this world, what do you think are the biggest threats for the peace?
Yes, namaste and welcome to all our audiences and speakers. Uh, it's a very important subject about how we can enhance global consciousness, also bringing the peace in the world. As an Ayurveda doctor, I always believe that it is also about our individual health index. Spirituality is also about our inner well being, our happiness index, and bliss in life, which means that if we are healthy as an individual, that means not only just the physical health, but also our positive state of mind and emotions, which in turn uplifts our consciousness or our spirituality index. And if that happens, then definitely we are in peace with ourselves. And if we are in peace with ourselves in a healthy state of mind, then it definitely and directly affects the atmosphere of our entire family. And as I always say, that if the family is positive and healthy, then you can influence the society to be healthy and positive. And through the society, you can, of course, influence the city. And through the city, you can influence your state and then your country. And definitely, you can bring and think about global peace. So it is very important that when we talk about spirituality, we should look inner wise also, because it's no point in preaching to others about very good things while your inner consciousness is not at peace. So this aspect, I believe, should be taken care of, and all our like spiritual gurus and whatever they say is basically talking about how we can bring positivity and spirituality in our own consciousness. So if
Thank you.
that happens, then of course we can achieve this target of bringing global
Thank you,
peace.
Dr. Agrawal. Dr. Agrawal mentioned the importance of being physically healthy and mentally stable, and then we can lay down the foundation of a peaceful world. I will come to Veena from Hong Kong. Veena, what do you see as the biggest threat of the world peace today?
So um, I definitely see. I mean, I've been listening to the previous two speakers, and what really rings a bell is that, like you say, you have a united consciousness. You're really trying to get everybody united. And at this point in life, I think everybody is disintegrated. So, all the way from families, when Dr. G said physical and mental, I would even say we are disintegrated physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We don't know also that we are one. We've just disintegrated that. And then if you look at even the world, we look at the planet individually, we look at animals individually, we look at human individually. So everybody is being looked at individually rather than as one. So if everyone is just thinking individually, so there's all about me, it's selfishness. There's a lot of selfishness at the moment in this world.
Thank
We're
you.
all thinking very individually, and we're not looking out for each other. We're just thinking what will make me happy. It's
Thank
not
you.
about what will make others happy. So I think that the biggest threat is that we are thinking too individualistically, like too selfishly, and that is definitely not going to lead to global peace. We have to come together to know and experience, not just knowing, but to truly experience the oneness within us, that we are, yes, we are the physical, the mental, emotional, and the spiritual. We are one,
Thank
and
you.
we're all
So,
interacting
yes,
together.
yes. So, Veena mentioned that the divisive mindset and heights of individualism is a threat to world peace today. I'll come to Swamiji from Sri Lanka. I remember Swamiji saying that WhatsApp is the only thing which saves you before you dial into it. So, Swamiji, will request you to elaborate on quickly in few words what is you see as the biggest threat of the world today.
Somewhat similar to what Veena stated, is the strong sense of individuality resulting in greed for power, wealth, positions, and trying to achieve dominance, etc. And what happens is then we try to use the race, religion, language, etc., and the country also to add to that individuality. So even when you identify with a country or a race or religion, you are trying to consolidate the individuality rather than broaden your thinking, and that is what is leading to the disharmony in this world, and that is the threat for the peace all over the world. If you analyze all the situations where the global peace is threatened, it is about the individual sense of individuality, but they try to use other things to add to this individuality. As I said, the race, religion, language, etc. I think that should do.
Thank you. Thank you. Swamiji said that individualism is the core, but it fosters the feeling of nation versus each other, religion versus each other, and it brings a bigger disharmony in the world. Now we have Mubir Khoniji from Tajikistan. How do you see is the biggest threat to the global peace?
और एक बार आप सभी को नमस्कार. Once again, I welcome all the Gurujis. That I think I'm the youngest person from here, so that's why I'm agreeing from all the Gurujis here mentioned about the spirituality. So I'm also agree that in villages we should add cultural tolerance. So thank you. I'm not able to say something like more in front of the Gurujis. Thank you. Thank you.
So kind of you, he said that intolerance is the big problem. So now the second question, once the problem is identified, Agrawalji mentioned about peaceful body and healthy mind, or healthy body and peaceful mind, and the individualism are the biggest threats to the global peace that reduce the tolerance also. Now the bigger question comes. I'll begin with Swamiji now. Swamiji, how spirituality can provide a solution? Because spirituality is considered as something which is very philosophical. And people at times say that be practical in dealing with it. So how spirituality can bring solution to these problems?
Yeah, we identify the individualism as the core problem, but then the spirituality tells you that the sense of individuality, the fact that we are separate, is only a physical appearance. Only at the surface, only on superficially, we appear to be individuals and we are separate from each other. But that is just one aspect of it. But if you dig deep down, whether you look at it scientifically or spiritually, we are connected. We are one. That's why in Hinduism we say Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, meaning we are all one family, not only human beings, but all beings and all the objects of this universe. We are in one with them. So, if we are one, then what we try to do is that we try to think of as individuals and separate entities. So, we are trying to violate the harmony. We are trying to go against what is there. What is there really is one entity. But we, in our thinking, we separate ourselves from that and we separate ourselves from each other. So, spirituality tries to re educate us and wean us away from this individualistic thinking by bringing in total perspective of our existence, not only the physical existence. Only at the physical level we appear to be distinct, different, and separate, but at all levels we are one with everything else, and that is what you call harmony. And that harmony is there. It's just that we are violating it, so we have to stop violating it.
Thank you. Veena ji, when we see this world and when we say we are one, we don't shouldn't have that individualism. But competition is too much. And people say if I won't press others, they will press me. So before they do it, let me do it. So in this light, when there is enough competition, how and why should I not feel about myself only?
So you mean to say that in this world of competition, how easy or how difficult it is to
See
be
beyond
one,
yourself, to see beyond
beyond
yourself.
oneself? Yes, it is. It is not an easy task for sure. But ultimately, no matter how much we try to strive and compete, at the end of the day, even after competition, you will see, okay, what's the next thing I need to achieve? So deep down, the person is trying to achieve happiness. They're trying to look for happiness, and but this is not permanent happiness. Whatever is being get we are getting through competition, okay, you reach a certain level, but then again you want to compete, again you want to reach, and then you're still not happy. You're still not happy. So ultimately, in spirituality, when you realize that everything is one, and what are we actually striving for? What is this materialistic thing? The true happiness will come into place. I think it's a true bliss. Uh, the nature of the soul is to be happy, and if it things outside, we are too much out right now. So that's why we feel that happiness is coming from competition, from winning, from power, but ultimately it doesn't. And then you go back to spirituality and say, well, how can I permanently become happy?
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
when we go into touch with
So,
the spirit.
yes. So Veena said that this competition, one person may win, but 99 will feel as a loser and they will be not happy. And even that one will not win always. So whatever happiness you get from that is a synthetic happiness, probably. And authentic happiness comes from spirituality. Beautifully said. Swamiji also mentioned about that we need to re-educate people. Swami Vivekanand was once asked, some people asked that, Swami, do you want to hypnotize people? He said, no, I want to de-hypnotize people who see division beyond divinity. So I'll come to Dr. Nitin Agrawalji. You mentioned the point of being mentally healthy and physically healthy. So how spirituality can contribute in being physically fit and mentally peaceful?
See, they are all directly related. As we say, even the World Health Organization has followed that if we have to be healthy, then the state of health means uh, mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. I've just taken it the other way around. So it is important that if we are have to be healthy, then it does not mean that we have a very strong build-up. We have muscular body, toned up body. But if our emotions and our spiritual index is poor and is compromised, then definitely it will have a direct effect on our physical health, and it will eventually be deteriorated. We may lead to several health diseases. So what is important is and that brings frustration and irritation. And if we are individually irritated or frustrated or in anger and egos and all these negative emotions, then it will definitely have a direct effect on the whole society. If we are holding a key position, or if we are a decision policy makers in a company or in a state, then of course it affects the whole policies of that particular organization or even the country. So it is very important that we are at inner peace and spiritually uplifted. So it is a very relevant thing. You can't distinguish these things separately. They are all in one. Uh, that is why in Ayurveda we always emphasize that if you are talking about your health, it is equally important or even more important to take care of your mental health and spiritual health. Because if that is not happening, if it is not changing, then a lot of problems are going to happen. And stress today in today's world is the biggest cause of diseases, compromising our immune system, compromising our physical health in day-to-day basis. So we have seen that very clearly even in this corona crisis. So all these things, yes, it is important.
Mhm.
And when we talk
Nitin
about,
Agrawal,
as you mentioned in the
yes,
previous question,
yes.
about how the religion also plays in the global peace, it is important to keep in mind that whichever path of spirituality or whichever religion we are following, the ultimate goal is to uplift your consciousness. But if we think that this path is superior or this is inferior, then of course the conflict starts, and it leads to situations where peace is gone away completely. And so that is not positivity. That is definitely
Yes.
not spiritual. So you
So,
you can be
Dr.
a
Vivek,
very prominent spiritual guru of the world, but if you are saying that I am the superior one, then you are not spiritual. That is for
God,
sure.
God, as they say, God save me from the saviors.
Yes,
Indeed.
yes. So these are the aspects that, of course, we need to take care of when we are talking global peace.
Perfect. Agrawalji mentioned that mental health may be the new Mantra and mental unhealthiness will be the new pandemic of the world now, and we need to be careful about it. And he mentioned that we should avoid using the language of superlatives because it doesn't let others people breathe, and people can't breathe, you see, in many countries. Now I'll come to Tajikistan, and I'll ask you, you have been meeting thousands of people in your work in tourism. You see that people are not tolerant. So what, how spirituality can bring solution to make people more tolerant?
So as also already we mentioned, I'm working in the museum and I work mostly with the foreigners and also with locals. And here we got the problem, as you already got, we are from Islamic country, so most of the people are here Muslim, and the tolerance problem that the Muslim people are, in the world are facing them. As Somiji mentioned here, that the result, we are by the just by the thinking we are separate, by the thinking we are different, but at all we are one, like that Om, Salam, Shalom, Shalom, Amen. We are all one. But as we are facing in our country in the museum problems of cultural, tolerance, that someone's mind are totally different, someone thought are totally different. So we are working on that through the artifacts, through the tolerance. As they already meant before coming of Islam here in Tajikistan, we all were like Hindus, we all are Buddhists. So also lots of scholars of here, they are research about the spirituality piece, about the Buddhism, about the, also I should to mention about the spirituality piece in Sufis way of Islam. I think most of the Gurujis know about the Sufis of Islam is like the same ways of the spirituality piece like a Buddhism. Sufism and Buddhism both of the same one. So through these points of view, through this historical point of view, we are getting some, working with the visitors, with the people of these people.
Perfect, perfect. Raman Maharshi was once asked that, Maharshi, how should I behave with others? Maharshi smiled and replied, there are no others. It's
Sure.
only your reflections. And as Mubirkoni ji said about Sufism, that gives a message of oneness. So I'll ask Swamiji again. Swamiji, there are many people who are atheist. They don't believe in any God. So you mentioned something that even scientifically, the individualism is not appropriate, the separation is not right. So for those people who are atheists, don't believe in God, will you some throw light upon what you said before?
Yeah, see, whether you believe in God, at least the people who do not believe in God, hopefully they believe in science. And if you look at science, for the past 200 years or earlier, the thinking was individualistic, and they thought what we see and what we can feel, touch, and all that, that is real. But now, with the development of the quantum science, quantum theories, and all of that, then what is known as reality, through what we see, what we feel, what we touch, that sense of reality is an illusion. This is what the science presents. So the whole idea of this, I'm an individual, I'm a separate entity, and you are different from me, and etc., is just an illusion, even scientifically speaking. So then, if that is an illusion, then the question arises, even the scientists are searching for what is the substratum from which this illusion comes up. So you may not believe in God, you may not believe in spirituality, but at least you think that you are there. But then, if that appears to be temporary, then what is the substratum from which this temporary illusion is coming up? And science is searching for that. And if you look at it, even our spiritual masters did the same search long ago, and they arrived at the concrete answers, and that is what science is also after. So you may be an atheist, but you cannot deny the reality, really speaking.
Thank you. Swamiji said that the basic science is still searching for the substratum, and maybe we are made up of atoms or quark or vibrations. So quantum physics is saying that there is an underlying singularity behind this plural, so-called plural world, and that is what is absolute reality. And sacred or spirituality is waiting for science to prove what rishis, saints, and sages have already discovered. So thank you very much, Swamiji. Veena ji, you mentioned about synthetic happiness and authentic happiness. You come from a country where, a place where materialism is at the peak. One of the most costly cities of the world, places of the world, materialism is the peak. Now, very practically, give me three tips. What will you suggest to those people living in such materialistic societies to see authentic happiness beyond this synthetic happiness? Three things, executionable tips.
First of all, what I do realize is that living in this fast paced, materialistic city of Hong Kong, it is very easy to fall into prey and become materialistic. And until and unless, and I've experienced this many times with myself and with people around, that until and unless this does not give you some sense of unhappiness or trouble or dissatisfaction or mental health problems, people don't start to question their purpose of their life or their
Yeah,
existence or their happiness.
thank
So,
you. Mhm.
all I would say is yes, go and enjoy life, live life, but ultimately you are going to ask that question: what is my true purpose of life? Because
True.
happiness is being trying they're trying to find happiness in branded goods and big houses or small properties or whatever it is, food, you know just being social and all that, but ultimately they're not happy inside, and we can see it.
Okay.
So experience life, no problem. I'm not saying stay away. I can't sit down and preach and tell you if you're enjoying that materialistic world. But
Yeah.
until life doesn't hit you yourself, you're not going to come and
Beautiful.
ask the real questions.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
So
Yeah,
Veena ji mentioned, it reminds me of Swami Chinmayananda once said that, like a chewing gum, you chew life, and the moment it stops giving you sweetness, you spit it out. So Veena ji said, do all the experiments with life. Rather, having more materialistic life is better. You will get hurt sooner. So the moment you fail to get authentic happiness, then you will search for the real happiness of life, and then probably you will find your ways out. So this is one tip for everybody listening. Do all experiments, do it fast, get hurt, and come to the right path if you really want to take that bigger route. So even
exactly.
materialism is a teacher that way, what she wants to say. And we'll come to Nitin Agrawalji. Nitin Agrawalji, quick tips for our audience. How can they be mentally peaceful and physically fit? Quick executionable tips in minimum words.
Sorry, can you repeat your question, please? I just.
Yes. Quick executionable tips for our audience. How can they be mentally peaceful and physically healthy? Quick executionable tips, which they can execute tomorrow morning itself.
I think it is important that people take care of their individual health, as I mentioned before. And for that, they should definitely follow the practices of yoga and meditation. Meditation is very important. I have personally seen people who have been really challenging with their emotions that has helped them quite a bit with that, but it is a regular practice that needs to be done. Yes, physical fitness, doing some sports, some other type forms of exercises also are very important, because then your body is physically fit. Then, of course, it also helps improve your spiritual and emotional index. And of course, I would suggest, being an Ayurveda doctor, to suggest that some herbs like Brahmi, Bacopa munieri, or Ashwagandha, Vithania somnifera. These are some very common herbs available everywhere, which can be taken, because there have been a lot of researches about these herbs, which helps improve our cognitive factors, especially when we talk about emotions and spiritual index. So all these things together with a positive thought, a positive mindset, definitely is a quick tip which needs to be taken care of. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Agrawal. Swamiji, you address to the people who believe in science. Now, maybe some tips from the sacred science of it also. Some tips for the audience. What should they do so that they can see beyond this divided world and they can see divine within and outside also. Some executionable tips.
So the answer is very simple. It's not that what you should do, it is more like you should stop doing something. You know, you have to you have to stop disconnecting because you're already connected. So stop disconnecting in the name of, you can put a list down. I don't want to say, in the name of race, religion, country, etc., etc., etc. List goes on endless. So we are trying to create artificial sense of separation, and because of that, we feel we are disconnected. So if we stop doing this business of disconnecting, then we will feel the connectedness. We will feel the harmony amongst each other, and that is the sure way, and assured way, and only way for reliable and lasting, meaningful peace in this world.
Beautifully said that. Stop doing. Don't, it's not that you need to do something, you need to undo something, unlearn something, that conditioning that has happened to you. Indeed, indeed. It reminds me of when Swamiji was leaving Himalayas, then his guru said that, why you are going, Swamiji? Swami Chinmananda said that, I'll go, I'll preach, and I'll come back. So I won't do much work. I will leave the work later. Swami Chinmananda Guru asked Swamiji, it is not the question whether you will be able to leave the work or not. The question is whether work will leave you or not. So, as Swamiji mentioned, indeed. And we'll come to Murmur Koniji. You mentioned about Sufism and Buddhism. Any quick tips from any of these executionable tips for our audience? What should they do to see divine beyond this divided world?
So the four lines. I will mention four lines of Omar Khayyam. It's one of the greatest Sufis of all time. He mentioned four lines. Happily, I walked in the tavern down the line, peasant and old drunk, holding a bottle of wine. A bottle of wine, passed away, all drunk. And I asked him, "Do you not fear God?" I asked him, "Do you not fear God?" Said he, "Mercy is a God's sign. Mercy is a God's sign," and bottled the wine.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Babir Koniji. He said that mercy, compassion is the essence of oneness. It is the foundation of all the religions. And it reminds me of Rumi once said, beyond the limited definition of right and wrong, there is a place. I will meet you there. Because only that place we can meet each other, where we'll stop judging each other. So, dear friends watching us from world different parts, let me just conclude what we discussed today. We have distinguished guest Veena said that this disintegration and divided mindset and individualism, that is the cause of the world problem today. And this competitive world leads to temporary and synthetic happiness. And in order to get permanent happiness, if you are living in such a materialistic world, go and do all the experiments with your life, and one fine day, you will realize it's not worth it. And the moment your questions are sincere, you will seek sincere answers, because emotional and spiritual problems do not have materialistic solutions. Thank you very much, Beenaji. Then we had Swamiji from Sri Lanka. Swamiji said that individualism is the major problem that gives birth to, I guess somebody's mic is creating sound. If others can switch off the mic, it will help. Okay. Thank you very much. Then Swamiji mentioned about individualism. He said that it gives birth to the greed, power, wealth, and all different fragmented word. But separation is a notion. It is only a hypothetical. Even science and sacred both knows it, not believe. They both know it, that there is a fundamental reality, as he said, as the foundation spectra, subspectrum, which is one for even science says it, and even spiritual sciences also knows about it. So we need to re-educate and not to do something. Stop disconnecting yourself, and you are actually already being connected. Mubir Koniji mentioned that intolerance is the problem of the world, and solution lies in Sufism, Buddhism, and even Vedanta, like Swamiji indirectly mentioned. He quoted Umar Khayyam as a solution to have compassion for every being. A compassionate being really drinks the liquor of love and remains in togetherness forever. We have Dr. Nitinji. He said that balanced mind and a healthy body is the basis of world peace today. A balanced person will have create a balanced society and balanced nation and the world in turn. And finally, it is not the six packs that matters. It's the emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence is what is more important. Otherwise, new pandemic will be mental disorders and the problems, and the solution he gives: yoga, meditation, sports, exercise. And he mentioned few herbs like ashwagandha and brahmani for everybody's holistic wellness. Thank you very much, dear friends. I'm sure that you must have been benefited by our eminent experts here. Thank you very much, our experts, also to be on the journey of united consciousness with us and blessing us. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Kathak is one of the 8 major forms of Indian classical dances. Kathak is an amalgamation of 3 arts: music, dance, and drama. The Kathakas, the storytellers, performed in holy places where religious knowledge was made accessible to all. Later in Mughal reign, it has been brought out of temples to their courts and added Persian influence to it. Kathak then became a full existing art, very graceful and complex, much enjoyed by the kings and their courts. Our next performer is a well-known Kathak dancer, Ms. Sharmila Sharma. She gave her first performance at the early age of 3. She received her initial training from her mother, Tara Sharma ji. Sharmila ji, under the guidance of Pandit Rajendra Kumar, Gagan ji and renowned Pandit Birju Maharaj ji, became a professional dancer. She is an empaneled artist of Indian Council for Cultural Relations. She performed in prestigious festivals in India and abroad: Taj Mahotsav, Khajuraho Dance Festival, Washington DC Queen Elizabeth Hall, London 5 Continent Festival, Paris, France World Kagwa Festival, Osaka. I feel delighted welcoming Sharmila ji, a legendary artist of dance.
Namaskar, I am Sharmila Sharma, Kathak exponent from Paris. I would like to invite you online celebration of United Consciousness Conclave on 11th, 12th, 18th and 19th of December 2021. I will be part of this celebration. I would like to thank United Consciousness, Project Self, USA and Bharat. Please join us. Thank you. Namaskar.
We are very thankful to Ms. Sharmila ji for a captivating performance of Kathak dance. Thank you so
Farida
much,
Muhammad
Sharmila ji,
Ali,
for
born
such a beautiful
1963
performance.
in Kerbala, Iraq, is an Iraqi singer. She performs regularly in the Iraqi Maqam ensemble. The ensemble was established in 1989 in Baghdad by Muhammad H. Gomer to continue the 1973 ensemble organized by the prominent lute professor Munir Bashir. She has taught Maqam singing at the Baghdad Conservatory. She left Iraq in 1997. She is married to Muhammad Gomer, the Doja instrument player, and lives in the Netherlands. She was a recipient of the Medal Algeria Capital of Arab Culture in 2007. She performed an International Mystic Music Sufi Festival in Karachi, Pakistan in 2007.
غارت لا تذكر ترابك لو ان غصنك عطش روحي تدق بابك واذا اشتاقيت اشمك ريحة ثيابك لو ان غصنك عطش روحي تدق لك حريمة تبيعني وبشوق ربيتك إي عيشتي عني وأني حبيتك حلم حتى بحلم يروح ولا بد يوم هزت شوقي ولا بد يوم هزت شوقي حلم حتى بحلم روحي ما ولا بد يوم انسك شوقي وحنيت لا انت الحبيب اللي يرسم امالي ولا انت الغريب اللي يرحم بحالي لا انت الحبيب اللي يرسم امالي ولا انت الغريب اللي يرحم بحالي غار وانتظر بعيوني وانت يا غار وانتظر بعيوني وفيك عيشت غيب عني واني حبيتك
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Farida Gomer and Mr. Mohammed Gomer for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a beautiful performance. Thank you so much. Our next guest is from Japan who is attracted towards the charm of yoga in 2007. She is Misa Ron. She is a certified Vedic chant and yoga teacher, mental coach and an aromatherapist. She has the experience of 14 years as a practitioner and 11 years as a yoga teacher. She came to India to learn mantras in 2013 for Vedic chant teacher training from Krishnamacharya Healing and Yoga Foundation. She is much more impressed with the philosophy of Nada Brahma, which means sound of God. Her mission is to make inner peace and happiness through meditation with sacred sounds. So put your hands together for Miss Misa Raj.
Namaste. It's so nice to see you, everyone. I am Misa Takashima, a certificate yoga and Vedic chant teacher, mental coach based in Japan. I am very proud to take part in this wonderful event, United Consciousness Conclave 2021. Sound as sacred in all religious and spiritual tradition, sound, words, and music are instrumental in creating, sustaining the universe, nature, and humankind. The common belief that vibration permeates all things, seen and unseen, forms the foundation of an ancient science and practice of healing with sound. I love music and singing, so I was very attracted to the world of mantra and the concept Nada Brahman, which means sound as God. I went to India to learn Vedic chanting mantra from authentic Indian teachers. I studied at KHYF, Krishnamacharya Hearing and Yoga Foundation, since 2013 in Chennai, South India. I learned Vedic chanting from Mrs. Menaka Deshkachar, who is Krishnamacharya's daughter-in-law. Yogacharya T. Krishnamacharya is considered the father of modern yoga. Today, I guide you to the world of meditation with Shanti mantra. Shanti means peace. Why I chose this mantra? Because my mission is to create inner peace and happiness through meditation with sacred sound. And united consciousness, the vision is peace and happiness here and now. In this hard time, especially each one of us need peace of mind. Chanting is one of the most powerful tools of yoga. It helps us to achieve a state of full attention and make mind, body, and breath become one. On a very subtle level, chanting changes our inner vibration to a higher one. That's why chanting is one of the fastest ways to regain our sense of calm, peace, and happiness when we are stressed or feel down. So let's meditate with sacred sound. So spine straight and shoulder and back relax. Close your eyes gently. Breathe deeply in and out. First, place your hands on your belly. We chant Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi 5 times. So let's do it together. Let's chant together. Breathe in deeply. Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi. Feel the vibration of your chant. Second, place your hands between your eyebrow, the third eye. We chant Om Shanti Shanti 5 times. Breathe deeply in Om Shanti Shanti. 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 Feel the vibration of your chant. And third, put your hands on your heart center. We chant Om Shanti 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 5 times. Breathe deeply in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. 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 Feel the vibration of Shanti mantra and meditate a few minutes.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Misa Ranch for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Misaji, for an amazing,
Namaste.
amazing meditating session. And I'm so sure we all are vibrations, and the mantra chanting vibrations that you guided us through, the
Yes.
vibrations will reach to different parts of the world,
Hmm.
and it will invoke the feeling of oneness in all of us. Thank you very much being with us on this journey.
Yeah, thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
The unnecessary chasing of demands of the senses and mind lead us to many problems of stress, pain, anxiety, anger, etc. And we, the most sensitive beings, remain away from the true realization of happiness and peace. Project Self Bharat is an organization created for supporting individuals of any background to build a strong foundation for a lifelong wellness. We focus on a holistic view of human personality and aim to bring the body, mind, and spirit into a balanced and healthy state. Our vision is to empower individuals to find harmony, peace, and completeness in themselves. Our program includes the Bhagavad Gita classes. Bhagavad Gita classes is a systematic learning program for a detailed study of Bhagavad Gita. It aims to provide a world-class education program and knowledge base for Bhagavad Gita. In this program, we include the deep learning, a systematic learning program for a detailed study of Bhagavad Gita, inspiring thoughts, inspiring and uplifting weekly messages based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Sadhana, weekly studied practices based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, scientific connections, exploration of the concepts in modern science and management that are relevant to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Sanskrit musing, a systematic analysis of the Sanskrit terms used in Bhagavad Gita. Project Self also run Vedanta classes. This is a systematic learning program for the study of Vedanta, one of the world's most ancient, broadest, highest and deepest spiritual vision. Project Self Bharat aims to provide holistic wellness program for the overall development of human beings. We offer programs on inculcating human values and moral elevation through the study of Indian scriptures. We encourage good health and well-being by providing the classes on yoga and meditation. All our programs are based on the real challenges and problems faced by the people of 21st century. We are logical and scientifically minded, and the sessions we provide are rooted in a scientific approach. Our language is not religious, contemplative, or mystical, but that of a common person. We believe in universal tolerance and we accept all religions' traditions as true. Our approach is the assimilation of all and not the exclusivity of one. Our programs and services are open to people of any background, irrespective of nationality, religion, and professional background.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्।
This shloka means, may everyone be happy, may everyone be free from all diseases, may everyone see goodness and auspiciousness in everything, may none be unhappy or distressed. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. I am highly privileged to have this opportunity to present my gratitude to all those who have witnessed and blessed this event directly or indirectly. I believe that this is not the end, but the beginning of our journeys. The journeys towards the noble cause of removing the 14 divides rooted in human race and promoting harmonious and peaceful coexistence. Firstly, I thank the God for blessing us all in this conclave to take our first step towards the noble mission. I thank European Yoga Federation, Swami Suryananda Saraswati Ji, Ms. Amy Blesio, Ms. Emilia, Sarah, Danielia, Christine, and also thank the Spiritual Council in Africa. I owe my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Swami Swarupananda Ji, for sparing his valuable time for our event. I am very